Yeah. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the new Drinking Water Directive. And on my side I have someone with high knowledge regarding rules and regulations for potable hot water, for example. He's the Global Business Manager for Water at Kiwa and also chairman of the group of notified bodies. I welcome Marco van Brink.
Dank PerJohan. Thank you, Danke, that I'm allowed to be here and tell a little bit about the coming Drinking Water Directive. And complicated and interesting subject.
Perfect. So maybe we can start with telling us a little bit about the new legislations that are coming with the Drinking Water Directive.
Yeah, I can do that. So, what will happen in Europe is that we will harmonize the material and product in contact with drinking water. It will be in the whole water chain, so from raw water to the moment it is delivered in the house, coming out of the tap. As said, a complicated system will be for the whole of Europe. So instead of we have today that we have some countries who have their own rules and regulations for materials in contact with drinking water, it will be one and the same system. It's a risk-based approach, meaning the more contact with water, the higher the risk the water can be contaminated, the higher the demands are. But it's also a system where you need a European notified body confirming that your product may be allowed in contact with drinking water. And I can talk hours and weeks about this, but maybe you have some questions?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there are a lot of installers walking around the fair today, and so how will this new legislations affect the installers, and what should they consider in their work?
Yes, indeed. Actually, for installers, I think it will be relatively simple, because the same as with CE marking, or for example, televisions or things like that, there will be a specific mark on each and every product, which is then allowed to use in contact with drinking water. It's not a CE, it is a small glass of water with stars around it. So in that respect, for the installer, it will be easy to see if it's allowed to use the product in contact with drinking water. But having said that, the installer still need to check local rules and regulations if it's allowed to install. But we can come to that maybe later.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, a lot of us sitting here are producers of components into the system, valves and so on. How will this affect us?
Then it will be the big change, I would say. So this new system will affect everybody who is in the chain of producing the final product. So if we look to your products, and also your suppliers need to change and need to adjust if needed. In the system there is European positive lists of materials which may be used. So that's one, you have to check that, of course. But in the system, depending on what kind of risk level you are, there's also a need of doing all kind of testing. And you, at least the one who puts it on the European market. So for ESBE, you are a European producer, so it will be your responsibility to secure that the products you are delivering in contact with water are in compliance with the new regulation. So you need a notified body to confirm your products in the future.
Okay. So the directive starts to come into more force from 1st of January 2027, and then in 1st January 2033 you have to be all according to the new Drinking Water Directive. Then it's all good, you can relax and chill, or how is it time to prepare already, or?
Yeah. Looks like you've been reading into it, so you know a bit about it, but indeed, The whole regulation is published. The minimum hygienic requirement for Europe is published. It's law. You need to follow it. And from the 1st of January 2027, it is coming into force for new products you put on the European market. So if you are launching a new product after the 1st of January 2027, in whatever European country, you need to, from the beginning, comply with this new regulation. Existing products which are already on the market today, or let's say just before the 1st of January 2027, there the Commission, in all its wisdom, has decided to give you more time to adjust. They call it an extended coming into force, and that means that you have until the 1st of January 2033 to secure that also existing products are in compliance with this new regulation. And I believe this time you need.
Then it's a hard must, yeah. But now we have been talking about the tap water or drinking water appliances and valves and so on. But does the new directive affect other producers of, for instance, heating appliances or heat sources?
Very good question. It's a question I've got many times this week. Indeed, this is also for hot water applications applicable. So in the Drinking Water Directive, it's both the cold water which you drink, but also the water you use for household purposes, so hot water or the shower water. So the whole system is covered by this new directive. Not only that, PerJohan, also going back into the chain of the supply of water, also products in contact with raw water, which are processed in at the utility companies, cleaned to make sure that it's drinkable. Also those need to be compliant with this. So it's indeed not only the tap or the pipe in the house.
So it's quite a big one, yeah. I don't know, are there any questions from the audience?
Are there already products on the market that are approved for the new Drinking Water Directive?
And my question is, what is with the installed base?
Let's first take the first question. So if there's any products on the market who are already in compliance or have a DWD certificate, hygienic certificate, the simple answer is no. And that's a simple fact because there is no notified body yet. So we are in the period preparing with the whole industry and all stakeholders until the 1st of January 2027. And it will be possible to start certifying product from that moment on. And then there was a second question, but I didn't understand it. So maybe you can repeat the question?
What is all about the installed base?
Installed base?
Yeah. All the valves which are not complying currently, which are already in the market.
Yeah. I understand, thank you. It's about the existing installations, etc. That is very clearly described in the Drinking Water Directive. It is applicable for renovations, so you are upgrading, and the things you then need for that, these need to be to compliance, but existing installations will exist as they are. So it's about new installations, it's about renovation installations, then this regulation is applicable.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions?
Thank you. The question is also a very good one. The easiest way to explain this is it is possible to get a EU hygienic certificate on a leaking valve. A valve which is leaking water. And no problem. As long as it's not contaminating the water hygienically, you can get this European certificate. But of course, the question if it's allowed to install it, and we all know that, is then no. And then you have to look to the local building and installation rules and regulations. So the Drinking Water Directive is a system that gives you access to the European market. You are allowed to sell the product in Europe if you have this certificate in place for your product. But the question, if you're then allowed to install it, is then still local. The Swedish regulation, the German regulation, etc., etc.
Okay, so the Drinking Water Directive is more of a material approval, so to say, and then you have to have it approved to be installed also. Okay, great. Yeah, any further questions?
A product contains of several materials. How are there any tools for me to know if a material is approved or not?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. So, is there any tools about materials which can be used, etc.? As I said, there will be, or there are already published the European positive list, but it will not help everybody that much. So yesterday, Kiwa, together with DWGroup and Kiwa, the German industry, launched a material database fit for drinking water, where the material suppliers can upload their information about the materials, but also if there's any tests done linked to the DWD. That way, the users of the material can see, this material is already tested, looks to be good, and then depending on the risk level of your product, we do not need to test anymore to certify the product, conform the EU hygienic regulation, or we maybe need to do some small testing or bigger testing depending on the risk level. So this is new, and we hope this will simplify this whole drinking water regulation.
Okay, then let me thank you, Marco, for teaching us about the new Drinking Water Directive and what it means and how it affects us. And I'm very glad to say that us at ESBE have been having a good cooperation with you at Kiwa in order to be fully prepared to be aligned with the Drinking Water Directive. And we're also doing big investments in our plant to be able to meet the challenges that come with material changes and so on with our products. So thank you a lot, Marco.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.